The Vivo X200 Pro released back in October of last year. Time really flies. Now, we're already hearing whispers about the follow-up, the X300 Pro. But today, I want to slow down things a little bit and revisit the Vivo X200 Pro. Because in many ways, it's still a battery king of 2025. And more than that, still one of my favorite phones I've used. So let's discuss the Vivo X200 Pro and how it held up so far. And I definitely think this is probably the battery king of 2025. Let's dive into the video. When launched, the spec sheet was impressive. The Dimensity 9400 is efficient and cool, unlike some Snapdragon 8 Elite phones that tend to run a little bit hot. A massive 6000 mAh battery that lasts me easy through the day, topped with 90 watt wireless charging and 30 watt wireless charging. And then the cameras. A 50 megapixel main sensor with a 23mm equivalent focal length, an f-stop of 1.6 and a 1/1.28 inch sensor size. Along with it, a 50 megapixel ultra-wide, 15mm equivalent and an f-stop of 2.0, perfect for capturing the world a little bit wider. And finally, the massive 200 megapixel periscope telephoto, an 85mm equivalent beast and an f-stop of 2.7, but more importantly, a sensor size of 1/1.4 inches. This thing is serious. For video, you got 8K and 30 frames per second at the max resolution and frames per second. But honestly, I mostly stick to 4K, and on top of that in 4K, I can also shoot at the 120 frames per second. It's smooth, detailed and beautifully cinematic when it allows me to do that. But for photography, for me, it isn't just about details or sharpness, it's about moments, it's about memory, it's about telling a story, a place of time and showing how it felt. Every phone handles moments differently, shadows, highlights or emotion, and Vivo, especially with its Zeiss partnership, leans towards the more distinct style that we know from Zeiss. More saturation and a bit of a bolder look. It's not always the most soulful shot, but it is very trustworthy. And that means something, because when I hit that shutter, I know it will capture what I saw. So here we are, almost a year later with the Vivo X200 Pro. And when it comes to the camera and battery life, I can really rely on it. But what has been my true experience over those last few months with it? Let's discuss it in a little bit more detail when it comes to the Vivo X200 Pro. When it comes to my content, I always try, whenever the budget allows of course, to explore different places. Not just to make it visually exciting for you, but also to push myself creatively. Testing my skills in unfamiliar environments, forcing me to adapt, to grow. And honestly, you watching these videos, subscribing, commenting, all really helps more than I can say, because my goal is really simple: to someday create something closer to a documentary style, not just a tech review, but a story. One where the phone plays a role, but the experience of it really matters. Not just the experience with the phone, but for you as viewer as well. And that exploring I've done with the Vivo X200 Pro as well. For example, when I first got it, I brought it with me to a trip in France. Over 8 hours of driving, navigation on the entire way, bright screen, constant use. And during the drive I even had a YouTube video on, a documentary. I wasn't watching it, I was listening to it, because those stories inspire me. But that's not why I'm saying it, it's all about battery use. After arriving at the location, I was shooting some different content with the Vivo X200 Pro. And how it did? Well, it held up. It really held up. That kind of reliability matters when you travel. You don't want to worry if your phone will die before you even reach the destination, which is why I don't drive EVs. During my time with the Vivo X200 Pro, I've taken it to multiple locations, testing, comparing, and also of course against the X200 Ultra. Yes, that comparison is coming, but I had to focus on some other comparisons first. Here, just a little teaser for you. At the end, the X200 Pro is a camera I can rely on in terms of consistency, clarity and battery endurance. But if I'm being honest, it's in Pro mode where it really shines for me. When it comes to my preference, that's when I can tune down the processing, dial in the feel that I'm looking for, and to avoid that occasional AI overpolished look that the Vivo X200 Pro sometimes has. Naturally, there is more to a phone than the camera and the battery, and honestly, that's why I'm not a classic reviewer. I'm not like Son of Tech or C-Tech Care. And yes, I'm a bit jealous of his travel schedule when it comes to C-Tech Care. Now, why I say I'm not a classic reviewer is because for me, when it comes to talking about the software experience, it is quite boring. I want to talk about the experience that matters to me, and when it comes to that experience, battery life and camera really matters the most. I'm often easily pleased when it comes to the software experience if I don't really have any issues, and I don't have any on the Vivo X200 Pro. When it comes to my software preference, the only thing I'm really looking for is the own gallery app from, for instance, in this case, Vivo, because I really don't like Google Photos. And when it comes to phones, often, especially phones like these, they're fast enough. I don't care about benchmarks, because for me, it really doesn't matter in terms of the phone performance. So at the end, when it comes to the Vivo X200 Pro, I think it's an excellent device, especially when it comes to battery life, and camera is excellent as well, depending on your needs and the kind of photography you are looking for. When it comes to the photography of the X200 Pro, do I think AI is a little bit too much? Yeah, it depends on the shot, but I do think sometimes AI can be a little bit much, like for instance a fake moon that just isn't there. Those kind of things for me are a little bit too much, even though the shots can look quite cool. But when it comes to the overall experience of the Vivo X200 Pro, it's an excellent device. Battery life is excellent when it comes to the Vivo X200 Pro, and I think overall it is a device that I can easily recommend to a lot of people, especially now with the release of the X300 getting closer, and of course the prices dropping for phones like this. I can easily recommend a phone like this, especially if you do love photography. I will however say that I do think that the real power of a phone like this is probably more in RAW, because then I feel like I get more out of the shot itself compared to what I would get normally out of a phone like this, because again, it is quite heavy when it comes to its processing, especially if you compare it to the X200 Ultra as well. Either way, let me know what you think about the Vivo X200 Pro and what you think about the phone itself. Let me know in the comments below. But before we leave, I really want to thank my members. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. So thank you for the support. And of course, if you want to become a member, you can by clicking join below. And of course, when you are a member, I will also share some raw files for you. Either way, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe and everything. And talk to you guys in the next.